The assessing or take it out.
Where's it?
Sorry guys, there's the mic now. Good morning everyone. How's it going? Hardest morning. Had the mic muted. How's the audio? Just give me a heads up there in the chat. It's got a lot of bass. It's got a lot of bass. Is it too much bass? Is it too much? The bass?
Enough for me to notice.
Like, is it too bassy?
I would it's too busy.
All good, more murder. Let's just see, guys. They're saying it's a little bit too bassy. Let's just play a little bit with the bass. Just playing around with some equalizer settings here. So let's just sort out the technical bits before we head into. Okay, I think we need to roll with it if it's not too much. Mo, is it good? You happy with it? Average, we'll sort it out afterwards. Good morning, guys. Albert, Mondre. Guys, we are going into NFP tomorrow. Remember, NFP stream tomorrow. Also, we've got Carl James on in the morning. So quite a busy day on the stream. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. I'm just going to try and set this equalizer a little bit lower just to get some of that bass out of my voice. My voice is already bassy. Okay, let's jump straight into it. So this morning we've got some CPI out of France, out of the Eurozone. We've got some unemployment figures out of Germany. Then the big one as well, the Eurozone CPI. That is at 11. Expecting CPI to drop, so just be aware. Euro pairs also, it could affect the dollar as well. Unemployment rate, so technically almost like some sort of NFP for the Eurozone today, and especially with CPI coming out also out of Italy at 11. Then later this afternoon, 2:30, we've got is this PP? Yeah, this is CPCE or PCE. Personal consumption expenditures, also quite a big one. Also inflation gauge for the dollar, and then tomorrow the big one. So with that being said, let's jump straight into the charts, starting off with the dollar index. And remember, yesterday we were bearish, saying that it's going to be quite an easy day today if we close below this previous area of support. We did close below it. We already creating some type of top wick, and I would say the zone to monitor is 103.32, whether we reject there or whether we come back into the range. But daily bias bearish on the DXY, and if I just look at where we are in the range, still below the daily pivot, just above Asia highs. So I would say line in the sand this morning if we can fail to break through this daily pivot, or even if we do break through it all the way up here and then get some type of structure break back below the daily pivot, we can see some further continuation down. I'm not bullish on the dollar for today. I am considering myself and Keegs this morning were talking about it, if the dollar is going to continue bearish up until tomorrow into NFP, we could see the pullback happening at NFP. So that is the scenario that I see on the DXY. US 30 yesterday played out very nicely. We were bullish on it. I'll actually share with you guys the trade I took yesterday at the open. And I am bullish today as well up until this neckline area right here. I want to see price test that area, and whether we break through and then close above, that is still to be seen. 5-minute time frame. Let's quickly just assess our ranges. Very nice bullish momentum. Yesterday was a little bit choppy. I think if you didn't catch that initial move, I think you would have gotten chopped to pieces. US 30 bullish, daily pivot sitting at the Asia lows. I will be looking for buys later on today from this level right here. Monitor that level. Yesterday's trade I took, Keegan was still in the office. Asia highs was around this level right here somewhere. We basically broke out of that pre-market, retested it, and literally at the open, as soon as this candle closed, I entered right here, and I only went for about, I think somewhere here I closed 90 points in and out, done. As easy as they come. Everything was set up bullish. We already traded lower pre-market, started pressuring bullish, started breaking structure to the upside. I just want to show you guys the challenge account where we are. So while that's opening up, let me just show you guys. So $100 deposited on Monday, and let's just go custom period this week. So there it is. That's the buy yesterday. Let me just enlarge this a bit. So there you can see on the 5-minute, as mentioned, took it as soon as that candle closed, popped up a bit, and then at S1 got out. So the challenge account looking good for tomorrow, and potentially later today, but we will see. I am bullish on US 30. Nasdaq very similar, bullish as well. I want to see what we do at this level right here. So we've got quite a bit of range to the upside, and while we are trading above this previous area of support, then turned resistance, I would be bullish. Or if we do something like this today where we fake back into the range, that could be a fake out, but bullish on the day. Let's just see where we are on the 5 minutes. MGI Capital, good morning my brother, hope you are well this morning. Alright, daily pivot sitting very close to that level that I mentioned, as you can see that box there. So I'm going to stay with the bullish bias. I would love to see price pulling back into the daily pivot, and then later on we can buy from there. So bullish both US 30 and Nasdaq. Gold bullish on the day. Only thing, however, no bottom wick. At what stage do we create a bottom wick? And also just consider this level right here, previously support, turned resistance. We are bullish on the day, but we could get a case where we create a bottom wick, come and break yesterday's highs, and then Friday could be like some type of massive reversal. But I am bullish on the day. The bottom wick, however, I hate it when a candle has got no daily bottom wick or top wick, because at any stage price can drive down to go and create that bottom wick. And currently, just looking at AD, starting to show some signs of weakness at these highs, but bullish on the day. Currently wouldn't necessarily look for buys. I would first want to see a bottom wick being created. That's the daily bottom wick there. And if we can then regain the Asia highs, I would start looking for longs. Asia lows.
Chris,
Sorry.
just to note with gold, as bullish as it is, we did close off yesterday our daily candle beneath a very strong resistance area. So the fact that we have closed underneath that, which slowed a lot of momentum down, was, let me just get it exactly for you. Yeah, so our key resistance point was at 1943, basically 1943 on the dot. So when you look over on to the left side, you'll see we've had some strong areas of resistance where this closed underneath. The following day, we did wick up again, but then all that bearish momentum came in. So yeah, every time the candles have either closed above, they have rejected and gone up, or they closed below, they have rejected and continued down again. So the fact that, like we say, the little things of not having a bottom wick, all those type of things, I think it's just in a case, like we said yesterday, about reacting, because this really can be a point. This literally can be the point of turning around and starting that bearish move down. Like we said, a little bit of a slow ranging move down today, and then continue that bearish movement tomorrow.
Yeah, as Keegan mentioned, let's just make this box another color. But this is what Keegs is referring to. Let's make this blue. So I would love for the daily candle to first take out yesterday's high, push up, entice more buyers into the market, and then potentially even closing the day red back into this range. But ultimately, this is a tricky zone to trade within, because as you can see previously, if you just pull it even further across, you can see all of the reaction that happened within this zone. Multiple tests there, broke through. Here again, multiple tests. So what can we expect here? It could push bullish, but obviously we could go into some type of range, almost like a type of accumulation, to then continue higher, or we can come back because we have pushed up two very strong legs of bullish momentum. So at some stage we are going to pull back to create that retracement. So
yeah, Chris, just also again to add to that, sorry, is like last week we were talking a lot about, for example, the sentiment reports, where they were very I think it was 80% or so that were going long. Those numbers are starting to flip very fast, as today we're already down to 66% is only going long. So that is also starting to turn.
We're going to have a look at the IG cent. Thank you for mentioning that. We're going to have a look at that as well. And yeah, gold for me very tricky. I am bullish on the day, but again, as mentioned, there's various things that need to play out before we can look for any buys. USD ZAR, again, this area has been tapped again, failed to continue lower again, and very strong bullish engulfing candle back at the weekly pivot. My bias is bullish on the day, and I want to see what we do at these Asia lows, because if we can hold Asia lows, I will be looking for buys. And then once we break through the weekly pivot and we can hold above there, I will be adding to my position. So just letting you guys know, if we can do like some type of structure break here at the bottom, almost something like a range and then a break, I will be looking for longs. GBP USD daily bias is bullish. Yesterday as well in the morning we mentioned no sells for us. Two bullish daily candles. We closed back within this range. Look left with me. We closed back into that range. As a minimum, I said we can come and test this previous area right there. And now we've got a tiny bit of range to work with for the rest of the day. How far we pull back, that's still to be seen. But I do think we can push all the way up to this prior area of resistance, 12760. So bullish on the day. 5-minute ranges, what do we have? Where can we trade from? Let me just grab this for us before we continue. Above the daily pivot, Asia lows being held. I am a buyer if we can hold Asia lows. Everything looking good for buy continuations, so keep that in mind. Open in 15 minutes. Would I ever love something like this? Another spike of the lows and then a break back into the Asia range. That is something that I would love, because we also have the Asia range intact. So we've already taken the lows. Now the market would need to come and take out the highs. So bullish on that. Yen pair is absolutely messing around, but I was potentially bearish yesterday, or I was bearish, didn't get my setup, price just pushed up from the start. So we are now back into this little range right here. So we can either fill it out at 186.60, we can come down to retest this area, but this is now our range that we are trading in. And let's see, bullish on the day, 5-minute ranges. Where are we in the range? Can we execute? That's my Asia high, this is my Asia low. At the pivot, Asia low, that's where my pivot is at. And again, I would love first for us to take Asia lows and then come back up. Otherwise, if we just continue to push, I will consider something here at the Asia highs. Lower probability trade, but I would first love for us to come lower. USD JPY, just an ugly chart at the moment. Closed bullish yesterday, didn't close back above this range. We've got this range to the downside as well. Have to go with bullish on the day due to the fact that we did not continue bearish. Also no top wick, so I am going bullish on the day for UJ. We're at the weekly pivot, Asia lows right here, Asia highs up here. Basically corresponds more or less with yesterday's Asia range. And I would say buys either from here, or I'm going to consider buys at the Asia highs. So anything like this, if we can break, retest, I will consider buys into this zone right here, this daily zone. Loss I took yesterday, I didn't take my trade. Oh, I actually took my trade here. I showed Keegan. Took my trade here. I think it was, yeah. Took my shorts, weekly pivot. Everything was pointing down. I closed out for break even. Gave me my 1-to-1 and actually pushed down a little further. Got back home, opened up the charts, keen to get some more trades, and where I got clapped was right here. I got clapped right here. Enter the trade expecting us to come and retest the lows so late in the session. Absolutely a retarded move. My trade was here from the daily pivot yesterday or the weekly pivot, coming for that second bite, got destroyed. That is when you have FOMO and you want that dopamine and you just take trades for the for shits and giggles. Don't do it. But that is the analysis, guys. I do think we can get some trades. It's been a quiet week, I'm not gonna lie. There's been moves, but it's not in line with my rules, so it's been difficult. US 30 was good. We missed obviously this big move here on Tuesday, expecting that continuation. Didn't execute on it. Wanted a bit of a deeper pullback, and then yesterday I was like, fuck it, let's take the trade. I am expecting bullish continuation, but the reason why I took this was that it was a lot closer to the Asia highs. The Asia highs were here somewhere, where Tuesday it was a lot further away. But we are here. Troop FX, MGI Capital, Chef Rowley. how's it going, man? Neil, A+, if we can manipulate Asia low and trade from the daily pivot on GU. I like GU, Neil, to be honest. I like GU a lot. I would love some divergence on the AD and these lows being taken and then coming back up. Even potentially on the daily pivot. Round numbers sitting right here, so we've got that institutional level to trade from. I am liking GU.
Chris, on another note, did you run through EJ?
No, I don't. I've never run through EJ. Why? Do you have a setup there?
Yeah, it's a possible setup I'm looking at for now.
Let me quickly grab EJ. MJ, I'll have a look at EU now. I will add EU onto the list.
So basically, just with EJ, whether you're on the daily or the 4 hour, we've actually been very ranging between 159,280 and 158,050. So we've had a very ranging market through there. We had a little fake out to the bottom where we found a 4 hour support, turned around, we came back into the range, which we had a lot of bullish momentum. We came right above where we found and made a new daily high. We are now retesting those daily highs of the range where we are seeming to find support. So I'll probably leave it a little bit of London open, but if it continues this way on the 15 minutes, then I would like to find a retest on those highs. So around about 159,280, even maybe a little bit lower, maybe 159,230, and then go long there. So basically the Asia lows and go all up to the Asia highs again.
So currently looking bullish. As you can see, accumulation distribution still pointing up, even though price is trading below the 200. We've got CPI coming out at 11. Wouldn't be surprised if we do something like this and then regain the daily pivot to continue higher. So I have to agree with you, it does look bullish. I do think Asia lows will be, I would even say 159, the round number, as that institutional level right there. So could consider something there. Euro USD for MGI. Manmat, how's it going, man? Euro USD. Let's quickly have a look at Euro USD, starting off with the daily. Euro USD, let me just clear all of this other stuff on here. So daily is bullish. We closed above this prior area of resistance, but now we've also closed up against this prior area of support, now also resistance. On the weekly, let me just look at where we are in terms of the weekly range. So we've already broken last week's high. Daily time frame bullish. 5 minute time frame, let's quickly look at what we've got. Currently at the pivot, very close to the pivot, I would say 10900. That's going to be your line in the sand today, institutional level. What you want to see is how we hold that level, or if we hold it. If we can't hold it, obviously trouble for the euro, but it is currently trading above the daily pivot, but the accumulation distribution is starting to point bearish. So just something to mind out for MGI. Also, we've already tested and rejected Asia lows. Asia lows have been tested and rejected, and then we've got Asia highs.
Sorry, Chris, don't you want to run through the disclaimer quickly?
Thank you for reminding me of that, guys. So just as a side note, the disclaimer, these streams are purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please do not construe this as financial advice. Please seek advice from your financial advisor before making any financial decision. You will lose money if you follow what we do on the streams. And with that, enjoy the stream, make your own decisions, or chat to your financial advisor. MGI, yeah, Asia lows. I would say I would rather miss out on 20 pips, and I would want to see once we drop down whether we can hold the daily pivot, and if we can come back into the Asia range, I would consider something. But for now, you need to wait. Also, with the news coming out, your key levels are, I would say, this entire 10 pip zone right here. This is where the bulls and the bears are going to battle it out this morning. Right here. Heinski, how's it going, man? It's been a while. I think that Chad missed you. A lot of the guys asked me, where's Hein? Did he blow his account? Because we haven't seen him on the stream, and I said no. He was dealing with some other matters.
Yes, yeah, it feels like ages since I've been on, but it's only last week. No, I've just been busy, eh? While I am actually talking, let me just quickly jump onto the charts here quickly. I've got some buy limits in on AUD USD. The signal was sent.
AUD USD, let me just grab that first, and I can take us
Did
through.
his first signal on the live.
Sheesh. AUD USD, let's have a look at it. You buying, selling? Buy limit, eh?
Yeah, buy limit, and then just quickly pop onto the 30-minute there.
30 minute, let's get the 30 minute. 30-minute chart, this order block down here, eh?
No, bit more down.
Oh, the bigger one.
Left.
Yeah.
No, it's still down a bit. We're still quite far away.
Yeah.
That green one down just right of you there, Chris. I can actually annotate, I think. Let me
Yeah, let me grab the chart for you. Get it. There's it. Okay.
Okay, now how do we annotate it? I don't even know how to annotate this thing now.
Oh, you actually have you've got control of my screen.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, hectic. I don't know how I did that, but we should do it more
cool.
often. Technology, guys, absolutely astonishing what you can do these days.
You just start pressing buttons and you find shit out.
Whoa, wait. Okay, but now this thing's lagging nicely. Okay, wait. I would have to concentrate here. I'm not used to concentrating this early in the morning. Okay, there. Okay, there we go. I can move it away. Yeah, so that order block, because if we look over here, we did have that break of structure over there, and then I'm just wanting the market to continue to the upside, and then we had some nice liquidity over here. This thing's quite slow, sorry guys.
No, it's fine. Take your time. It's still, we've got time.
So we had this nice trend line liquidity over here, leaving gap for the institution to take out some stop losses over here, and then I will be buying off this level over here. Chris, you've got control again.
Okay, let me get so buy limit on this order block.
On that order block, yeah.
Stops just below it. So 10,
Yeah,
10
pip
pip stop, and you want to target these old eyes here, or
I'm just targeting 1 to 3, so 30 pip.
1 to 3 right there. There's it, guys. Hein himself, the man, the myth, the legend. AUD USD. I'm gonna actually put an alert there for us on that level. 6462.
So I didn't tell you guys as well. So I did buy a 200k challenge along with my 100k at the funded trader. So if you guys want to follow along with that one, I wouldn't mind giving out my investor password.
Sheesh.
So you guys can follow along.
Yeah, the man opening up himself here. He wants the pressure, guys.
He's gonna have some shots fired there.
He doesn't want it easy. He wants the eyes on the account. Like, it's too easy.
Yeah, so here's my question. So I understand, like, you know, at the end of the day, that is still massive amounts of capital. But for those of you that don't know, Han does trade a live 200k account already. So for me, you've done 100k, you've got a 200k. Why the reasoning for going for another 200k?
You have to diversify, I think. Like, honestly, I feel like you have to diversify when it comes to your funded accounts, because I mean, you know, nothing's guaranteed. So I mean, that's why I think ideally you would like to have like your max allocation with each funded company, which would be like the main goal.
Yeah, no, I do understand, but obviously for those guys that are doing funded accounts, funded challenges, I think that was just maybe a way to look at it. For example, it's not always the case of just going for the biggest account the whole time.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, funded challenges are psychologically what's the word?
Challenging.
Psychologically challenging, and I can guarantee you, in my personal opinion, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like trading funded is a lot more difficult than trading live capital, just because of all the rules and the restrictions and the psychology that all the rules put you in.
I think the big thing for me with funded accounts that I feel is like the biggest hurdle is that thing that you can lose it. Like with your own funds, you can lose funds, but it's never a case of shit. After I lose 10%, all my capital is gone. And I think that is the biggest hurdle in your mind, is being like, flip, I do have the chance of actually losing this account and having to go through that entire phase 1, phase 2, getting to my first payout. I think that is the big thing. Troop FX, I don't trade German 30, but let me just have a look at it for you. So currently it is still bullish. We did our ever close bearish up against this prior area of resistance on the weekly. Let's just see where we are on the weekly. This weekly has yet to close, is currently bullish. We already broke last week's high. And just want to clear this chart for us. So on the daily time frame, potential to continue bearish due to the fact that we already took out Tuesday's high. We reversed. So I will be neutral on my bias. It's not a confirmed resistance as of yet. On the 5-minute time frame, let me just see where we are with our ranges. It is looking bullish. We are trading above the daily pivot. And if I have to mark out my Asia range is right here. That's Asia high, Asia low right here. So we are currently trading above it. I would however say if we can hold Asia highs, we can see a bullish continuation to go and retest this round number, that's 16,000. I wouldn't necessarily look at selling it, but again, I don't have any edge on it. So just in terms of our trade, I would not be looking for sells at this stage. Only way I will be looking for sells is if we really break through this daily pivot, even the Asia lows, and then later on retest this level, reject there. But for now, no sells for me on this. I would be focusing on trying to buy as close as possible to the daily pivot. Funded account teaches you discipline on another level. I agree. I do think funded accounts actually make you a better trader. 100% believe that.
Yeah, I agree with that statement a lot, but I think one only benefit about having your private funds is, like we always say, like you have your different tier of trades. So for me, like I'll have a triple A grade trade, double A grade, and like a normal A grade trade. And when you get those triple A's, like that is your bread and butter. That is like, like that is a 99% strike rate if you take that trade. So there is those times you want to risk more. And for example, like let's just say like there is a lot of traders that do it, and that's how they make these big profits on a trade. They can risk up to 10% on a trade if they want to of their account. Where funded, yes, because you are trading big capitals, but you literally have a max limit almost of 5%. So it does in a way restrain you, but it does teach you good habits to have as a trader.
Would you prefer a funded account to get started or own capital? Hardest, I would say start with your own capital, even if it's $1,000. First trade, real capital. If you can consistently make money on it, then go and buy a challenge. But if you can't trade funded like your own account profitably, nothing's going to change on a funded account. In essence, it's actually going to be harder. So I would say the ideal is take 1,000 Rand, 2,000 Rand, whatever it is, $100, $200, trade that live on a real account. And then after 2-3 months, if you found your edge, you're comfortable with taking trades, then start off with a funded account. And I would say mentally start off with a smaller account. If it's your first time doing funded, go for instance for the $10,000 one. Don't go for the big one yet. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Start with a 10K, try and get a 10K funded, try and get your first payout, and then take that refund and then double up and get, say for instance, the 25K. Keegan, I think we talked about it yesterday, saying that's also how you progress, taking, say, the smaller one, seeing first if you can actually get through it, and then progressing on to bigger funded accounts.
Yeah, I think like that's the thing. Even if you have good psychology, I have had this, other than you, I think I also had this conversation with someone about it, where I think it might have even been hard, where we were talking about this whole thing with the big accounts and stuff, is you can be on, let's even say like 100% winning streak. Like you are killing the game, and now you decide, okay, I'm going to take the next step. And let's say you do a 25K and you've been killing it. Now somewhere you just going, I'm doing this, like I'm in the prime of my game, I'm going to go 100K. That big jump, even though psychology and you feel you're ready, it's almost like subconsciously in the back of your head, you're always reminded of that amount of money and the possibilities of if you have that account. So it starts actually putting the pressure on you without you even realizing, and that kills your mojo and actually kills that winning streak that you're on. So sometimes it is actually beneficial to start small and just chip away, build, like Chris says, the 10K, the 25K, the 50K, and just keep going up and up and up.
Guys, I'll be back in 1 minute. See you guys now. Monday to Friday. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram handles in the description. NFP tomorrow morning. Carl, James on the stream as well. So, see you guys now.
Hey, Keegs, how did you manage that? Because I know it was you.
Manage what?
To get Carl on the stream.
That's my boy, bro. Nah, like we obviously just spoke about things, and obviously we just agree with what we are trying to do for the market and what he's trying to do for, not even the market, you want to say the community. They kind of align with each other. So he's helping us out, we're helping him out, and it's a win-win for both of us.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad he's on the stream. I think the viewers are going to love to hear what he's got to say. Very, very good trader.
Yeah, I think also what we were talking about is like we've obviously got a list. We were explaining to the guys that basically we're going to try and make it like a Friday thing. So every Friday we're going to try, well, not try, we actually will have a special guest on, and we've got some big names lined up for them. So we really are putting effort in for that. But I think Kyle is a very good place to literally start it, because for those people that don't know Kyle, he is a solid trader. He's gone through the ups and downs just like everyone else, but he is a very transparent. There's no bullshitting with him. There's no scamming. There's no nothing. And he's, like we say, he's not there to just promote himself or things like that. He is there to better the community as well. So I do think it's a really good place to start with him.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think Carl's going to say a few things that haven't been said on the stream before, but it's going to add value, so I don't think people are going to want to miss that one.
Oh, no, it's definitely a good one. I know he is very, very strict with like his trading rules, but as always, we'll see if we can get him to press some buttons and take a trade live with the guys. But obviously, that can't be promised. Like I say, he is very, very strict on his rules, so it would have to be a golden trade if he would take it.
I was about to say, for him to take a trade on stream is going to be extremely difficult, because I mean, this man takes like a trade a year, bro. Like he takes like one trade, and then it's Christmas, and then it's the next trade, then it's Christmas again.
Yeah, but I must say again, we were talking about this I think yesterday. We were talking about, obviously I'm not going to go too much into detail like with things that is his story to tell, but I think I did mention it to Chris even. Honestly, as him as a trader, I think his last loss he took was last year sometime. So he doesn't trade often, as Heinz says. I mean, we are over exaggerated a bit. I think he maybe trades once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks if the markets are a bit slow. But the fact like he literally hasn't taken a loss in just under a year, I think speaks for itself.
Rico, good morning, guys. So tomorrow morning during the call session we're gonna have, I will be funding one of you guys that have subscribed on the channel. Fund your account with $1,000 to trade with us in the afternoon NFP. So be sure to join tomorrow morning. We'll do that giveaway tomorrow. I'll just chat to Vault Markets and see how we can do it, because I don't want to pay the 1,000 Rand over to you and you take the boys out for lunch. We want you to trade with us. So $1,000 up for grabs tomorrow, but we would need to get these likes up on the stream, otherwise it's going to turn into 100 Rand. And if we can get the likes up, got almost 20 viewers on here, we can get it up to at least 20. We'll give that 1,000 Rand away tomorrow morning for NFP in the afternoon. How about you throwing a shirt like the one you're wearing now to sweeten the deal?
I would take your shirt over the 1,000 Rand, bro.
Listen here, guys, and I will throw the shirt in. You just need to send me your size. We can potentially throw the shirt in as well.
I think they want that specific one.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'll take this shirt off my back and I will send it to you. What a wonderful giveaway. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot more giveaways, MJR. There's some very cool stuff planned, so a lot of giveaways still planned. But I think for tomorrow, let's start off with the 1,000 Rand account.
Alright guys, you must just help us out here, because we low-key were talking about it in the office, and Chris did agree to it, that if we got to the stage that we were hitting like 10,000 likes on a video and things like that, and we were just blowing up, he would be willing by the end of the year to give his car away to one of you guys.
I did say that. I did say that. So it's 2021 model M340. Potentially, if we're gonna really blow it up. And what we'll even do is we'll throw in a race chip. Yeah, on Race Chip's website, we'll maybe even chip it for you guys beforehand, and we'll get you a nice set of forged wheels as well. Race chip. We'll get you the GTS Black. It's gonna give you, I think, an extra 63 kilowatts, so then you can sit on 342, if I'm not mistaken. Let's quickly look here at what we can bump it up to.
Yes, so that's actually a dope thing, eh? Like, I must say that MS mentioned there, like the tire writing, like you get on your cars, but having Forex written on the tires. Like, that's actually pretty dope.
I would say Forex is a scam.
No. That's a number plate there, agree. I've always said when I get my first like supercar, 100% I'm getting Forex as a scam.
But can you fit that all on there?
I'll make it fit.
Okay.
You see, if you get a supercar is wide. So I'm gonna get a wide number plate.
I don't think it works that way.
Chef Rolly, no, it's not with the, so the morning session is with the guest. So in the morning we've got Carl on, and then the afternoon is without the guest. I really want to lock it in and show you guys how I trade news. I've tried to show Javon, he keeps fighting me. Every time I show him in the office, I sit here and I tell him this is what's gonna happen, and it happens, and he looks at me and he's like, yo, dit het regtig gebeur. And I'm like, ja, dit het. So let's see if we can call a trade tomorrow. There's obviously some things that I want to see happen straight after the event, and we can execute live, but only if it's wrapped in chrome and has Forex lettering on the tires. Yeah, guys, we're gonna get the thumbnail up for the NFP tomorrow, so be sure to share it with your mates. Also, let them know about the giveaway in the morning, and we can potentially fund someone tomorrow. So, I think just as a precaution, if you have not signed up yet with Vault Markets, check the link in the description. Unfortunately, if you are not signed up yet, we can't fund your account, so please sign up. You would need a Vault Markets account, because if you are a winner and you don't have an account and I ask you for your customer number and you can't give it to me, we'll unfortunately need to roll it over to the next person. Alright guys, 15-minute shuffle has come and gone. Again, as mentioned, GU, I want to see us trade back up above the Asia lows. And if we can get that, I will be a buyer. I just want the accumulation distribution to also start flipping bullish again. Otherwise, no trade. And then USD ZAR, we're pulling back now. I want to see some type of break of structure here above the weekly pivot. If we can get that, I will also consider longs. GJ just absolutely flashing now and coming all the way back down to the weekly pivot. But my area of contention is this Asia lows. I'll consider something potentially here at 185 if we get there, but currently very bearish at this stage. Still early in the session. I've got the CPI figures coming out at 11, so
yeah guys, just again a note of when we obviously send like what we're looking at, when we have an analysis, for example, and there is a potential trade we're looking at. Like, a key thing is, again, we want certain confirmations, because just for example, the whole EJ setup I did mention earlier, I really hope none of you took that off the bat, because you would have got clapped. As we can see, EJ just took off to the downside. So again, that is why it's important to wait for certain confirmations.
Just an update on German 30 for the guy that asked. Here you can see very nice tap of the daily pivot, also holding here. That's why I mentioned I wouldn't necessarily look for sells, but yeah, I don't trade it, but as I mentioned, this is your area of contention. While we stay above the Asia high, stay above the daily pivot, nothing telling me to go short on that at all. Right, DXY in that daily level, as I mentioned. Let's see what we do at this level right here, whether we reject. Otherwise, we can potentially continue bullish. Remember, guys, it's NFP week. NFP weeks are like this. I actually laughed. I saw the one guy I follow on IG saying he's back on Monday. Conditions are too tough. And we've got month-end flows as well. I almost forgot. It's the end of the month, spring tomorrow. So end of month flows. Do not be surprised if you see some weird stuff happening in the market. Institutions rebalancing their books for the end of the month. Could be offloading some big contracts as well. You don't necessarily have to be under me. I'm anyway gonna get your customer number. I'll just chat to Vault. But if you already have an account, that's fine. Chef Rolly, what is the benefit of taking Asia highs and lows on 5-minute time frame then 15-minute time frame, please? So I only use the 5-minute time frame. So I do my top-down analysis, and for entries I take it on the 5-minute. It's literally more price action I can see. There was a stage where I used the 1-minute, but a lot of times it faked me out, and I found that the 5-minute is like that happy medium. I never trade the 15-minute. I only trade the 5-minute. And the benefit of the Asia highs and lows, as I've mentioned before, that is usually where your manipulation occurs. And it's also your anchor points for your trade. So let's say, for instance, UJ breaks down completely to the downside. Then I would look to sell Asia lows, because that is an area of contention. That is where volume is drawn into the market. So again, I've mentioned this before, session lows, session highs, previous daily lows, previous daily highs, all of that is where algos trigger a lot of volume in the markets. And similar with Asia lows and highs. These are areas where either volume is going to enter into the market, or this is either a place where profit taking will occur. But at the end of the day, these are levels that I have seen to play out. Like US 30 yesterday, if I didn't know that that was the Asia high, so there was Asia high yesterday. So if I didn't know that was the Asia high right here, I wouldn't have known to take it, because as mentioned, it's an anchor point for me. And we broke above it, we tested it, bullish engulfing candle, very likely we continue up, because if we were going to reject it, we would have closed above it and then immediately came back into the Asia range and then rejected to come down, which we didn't do. So it's purely for points of reference, the Asia highs and lows. Hope that makes sense. Oh yeah, before I forget, so I'm gonna start doing some testing or some data analysis on US 30, and just to give you a guy's idea of what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the last 3 months, and basically this is how you analyze data. I'm gonna take the daily bias, Then I'm going to monitor what price did, say from 6 till 9 in the morning. And then I'm going to see how many times, let's say for instance, in my measurement count, there's 50 days that I'm going to monitor. I'm going to see how many of those days that we counter trend to the daily, and how many times we actually moved with the daily bias. And the reason I say that is because previously on gold, what I did is I did a study and I saw that, for instance, gold, usually between 9 and 11, it's going to create like some type of high or low for the session and then pull back to then continue the move up. So for instance, yesterday, if you look at this from round about 9 o'clock till 11, there's the pullback that occurred, then continued up again. Similar here with, when was this, Tuesday, 9 o'clock, literally made a high, trending down, pushed down. So that is what I'm going to do, because I ultimately want to focus only on US 30, but for the morning session I don't have an edge. I need to first see what the data tells me, and if the data tells me that 70% of the time the London session moves with the daily bias, then I can start taking continuation trades like this, where we're closing above the Asia high. But if I see, for instance, there's only 30% of the time that it moves with the daily bias during London, then I can obviously know I want to fade the move. Would there not be more manipulation at the daily session high or low due to everyone trying to trade the break and retest? Not necessarily. So if you go to Linda, I think it's Linda Rashke, one of the modern market wizards. I think I do have it somewhere, but very eye-opening. Linda Rashke, yes, Linda Rashke, on a net worth. 12 trading rules. Let me see if I can find it here. Interesting read. I think it's only 2 pages. Just want to see if it's this one. Yeah, let me copy this and actually put it in a chat for you guys if I can. Drop it here in the chat. You can copy it and just clean. I can't. But go Linda Rashke's 12 rules of trading, and she mentions that daily highs and lows actually tell you the strength of the market. So if we break into new highs or new lows and we continue up, it shows a lot of relative strength in the market. But if we create a high, pull back and fail to take out that high, then it's obviously a weak high. So I don't necessarily think there's more manipulation occurring there. I just think it's either profit taking or it's obviously just relative weakness in the market, just shaking out weekends. Guys, you must take a look at an indicator called Sessions by Lux Algo. It highlights the sessions, but I like it because it extends the line for the highs and lows to the right of your chart. Called Sessions. I'm more than happy with the sessions. This is an indicator called Lines, and it's by Chris, and I literally created a template for it. Now I'm talking shit. Now I don't want to put on too many things. Like I know where the session high and the session low is. So for instance, if I take a buy right here, I know that is my session high because we open up here and that is our session high.
Because I'm gonna pop into the office after the Zoom. Do you guys want coffee? Keegs? You want a butterscotch latte?
I wouldn't mind.
Actually, just a normal cappuccino today, bro.
I like it.
I would also just
My
like a normal
white
one.
girl vibes are gone for the week.
Tall or grande? Okay, this is not the time to actually ask this, but tall or grande, please?
That's all for me. Guys, but one of the best indicators I've ever used and what I've ever seen is called the EYES indicator. And you actually need two of them. The EYES. It is a phenomenal indicator, and once you start using that, the market literally opens up. You have not seen the markets open up. This is actually the only indicator you need, is your two eyes.
Hey Keegan, have you caught it yet?
Oh!
Laz was
listen,
yeah,
I was like, what is
listen,
this
yeah,
thing talking about?
Laz legitimately was like, yeah, indicators, EYES indicator. Laz, be honest, I caught you there, brother. Now, why I say your eyes are your best indicator, because obviously price action is still king. All right, as mentioned, got a nice little move now from the lows. DXY rejecting that area, and let's see if we can get a nice little retest of Asia lows here. Just gonna set some alerts at the Asia lows here for us. Thought it was the next big thing. Ah, what the heck. Now I want to add indicators. No, just an alert, guys. So GU looking very good for a buy. Just need a nice little retest of the Asia lows. Need that to hold, and we will be in there. Ideally for the Asia low retest, what I want to see, I want to see us pull into this Asia low range, and I want to see us either break the structure. We're going to create some resistance here somewhere, see like a nice little resistance break, or like some type of engulfing candle. So if this candle that breaks is also an engulfing, much better. So and the reason I want to see a retest is because we already had this retest here. We failed to continue higher. We broke structure lower. So now we're closing back above the Asia lows again. So I want to see an actual retest hold or a break of structure to the upside. Who was it that asked about German 30? I hope you don't want to sell it. I hope you took some buys here. I hope Jay Rizzle is not selling this, because from assassinating the market to getting assassinated. What do you see there, Keeks? That man has been trying to sell German 30 this entire week.
I don't think he's in a trade. He's doing something, but I don't think he's in a trade.
Laz, I know you, my bro.
I was thinking, that's one of those moments, like you see in the movies, where that sniper's there taking everyone out, and next minute that sniper gets snapped.
Yeah.
That's what happened there.
I took sales on German 30 yesterday and got my stop loss smashed. Yeah, you see the issue is, that's my issue with trying to fade everything. Yesterday...
So for me, my thing is, where did this hype come in with German 30? Like, what happened to everyone just trading US 30?
I don't know. But for me personally, if I was going to sell German 30, this according to my playbook, 80 was below the 200 year, and you could have targeted your pivot trade from there, break of structure to your S1, and if it was going to fail to get back above S1, you could have continued that trade. But I would say that's the only trade that I would have considered. Okay, GU, nice little break of structure to the upside. Let's see if we can get that pullback back into Asia lows, and then we will be in. Neela, are you in? I think Neil is already in. Let me just check what the 15-minute did. No, I don't think Neil is in. No. I saw the buy on German 30 yesterday, but it went about 15 pips per minute, and it soared when I saw. Okay. High time frame was super bullish. Yeah. Alright, also gonna see what USD ZAR can give us here. Rejected the weekly pivot. Currently at Asia lows. Pound yen as well, potentially coming into play. I think if we can do something like this, I will consider buys. Guys, who in the chat took GU yesterday? I didn't take it, but I think if you go back and check the analysis, we mentioned that we're not looking for sells. We had the displacement above the weekly pivot, also the Asia highs, and there we had the retest. Nila, did you take GU yesterday? I did not take it. What happened yesterday? I think we had load shedding at Keeks.
Trying to think what happened. Did we had load shedding just before New York? So I remember we literally came on just before New York session.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it was basically 12, and I think the setup happened, yeah. So we were in load shedding, yeah. But that's a setup shared, and look at that thing. Alright Chris, I always hear you talk about S1, S2, what are those? So MGI, it's this indicator, your pivot indicator that just indicates your daily pivots. And your R1 is like a potential area, you'll see mine is red, but your R1 is a potential area where price can find resistance. And I use it as a reference point. So if I take a trade, say from the daily pivot, and I'm bullish, I want to ideally trade this up to the daily R1. Or if I'm selling, for instance, S1 basically stands for support level 1. So if I'm selling, I want to target support 1. So that's the S1 and S2 that I refer to quite a bit. For instance, US 30 yesterday, I didn't trade it from the daily pivot. We didn't get our move, but I know, for instance, the first area where the algos can potentially either sell or take profit is R1. And that is why you'll see on my terminal, I took the trade here, got slipped a little bit. And once we got to R1, I closed out the trade. I still wanted to leave it to run up to this daily level I got here. And I told Keeks while we were standing out, said, Flip, my rule is to take 90% off, but I can't take 90% off because the trade is a 0.1 trade. So if I pull it in here, just pull this trade in here for you guys.
We're just trying to teach Chris that he's got to set and forget.
No.
To be fair, where we moved your TP down, that would have hit your TP.
Oh yeah. So you'll see that on the 5 minute, let me just get that back. So I wanted to enter on this close, but as soon as this candle closed and I pressed buy, it already like popped up. And then you'll see basically I exited right here because it's the S1. So everything is calculated. It's not like we're guessing where to get out or where to get in. It's very set at levels we want to get in and levels we want to get out.
Like Kiggs, I've never seen someone watch his trade like Chris. Like Chris would watch his trade from entry to stop loss or to TP.
Okay, to be fair, I think we all used to be like that. Like, I remember the days, like when I started trading and I entered a trade, and especially like when I'd sit on a trade for like an hour, 2 hours, that whole 2 hours, I'm on my phone. I mean, if I gotta drive, I'm driving one hand, I'm like checking this thing. You can't take your eyes off that trade.
I think what I did, I wasn't necessarily watching the trade 24/7, but I would pick up my phone every 30 seconds and check if the trade had hit my stop loss or done something cool.
But do you know why I monitor the trade? Because from trading big size, you obviously want to always mitigate your downside risk. And when I enter a trade, I'm constantly monitoring like levels. So for instance, I think we haven't taken a lot of trades on stream, but let's say for instance, I enter off, let's say we get our pullback and we get our retest here. Then I'm constantly monitoring to see whether we can hold that level. So you'll get pullbacks, you'll get maybe something like this where it closes bearish, and then you would hear me say, I want to see the next candle potentially regaining that level, because if we fail or we range at a level, then I'm out. So I'm constantly watching and monitoring levels to see whether we hold them and whether I can close out early to not hit the full stop. Because ultimately, if I can reduce my losses, then that's a bonus. But it's more the thing of seeing what price is doing at session hours. I think Neil traded with me before I live streamed quite a few mornings, and for instance, the one morning we took a GU buy. I think it was also like an Asia low trade, and once we got to the Asia highs, I mentioned to Neil, there's only one of two things that's going to happen. Like we're gonna push up and massively reject the Asia highs to come back into the range, or what's going to happen is we're going to close above, we're going to retest it, we're going to hold it, and you're going to see like volume coming into the market. And as we hit that level, I moved stops to break even. We monitored it, and literally as soon as it broke session highs, it literally flew almost 60-70 pips. So that is the reason why I'm always monitoring session highs, session lows, and then obviously my anchor points in the market.
You know, Chris, you say that, like I used to do quite a lot, like with some of my bigger trades, especially when I'm, like I said, AAA grade trades, and I know this thing can like swing, like I'll hold out. And I actually said to Jevin the one day, we were leaving work, and what I do is when I enter the trade, if I know I'm going to be driving or I'm doing something, I just set an alert on my stop loss. So I know if I'm driving, I just set the alert come through, I know I've been clapped. And we're driving, it's peak hour traffic, I get home, I'm chilling, and I'm like, oh shit, I never got an alert, like I'm still in this trade. And I go to my phone, and this thing has taken off. Like this thing went. It actually turned out being probably my biggest trade I've ever had in person or in my trading career. But that's like my thing I do when I'm in a swing trade. I just set my alerts on my stop loss, and then you just let it run. Like put your phone down and just go do something.
I'm also the only one that when they banged out their first big trade on the funded account that I went to go look at McLaren prices, or is that just me?
No, you think that's funny. You can also, I was actually with me. I think it was the day, what was it, the day or the week? I think I was getting my first payout from my funded accounts. And literally that weekend, we went to go test drive cars. Like, we were just having a joke.
Guys, I am taking longs here on UJ. Just letting you guys know. Entering right here. 20 pip stop. Oh fuck, it's on the wrong account. Took a quick 500 and knocked on the wrong flipping account, but anyway.
Which account do you take it on?
On the wrong account. So taking a long here, 20 pip stop, and I'm gonna target Asia highs. Let's see if we can get Asia highs. But this is the trade that I'm in. Sorry man, I just saw it now. Break of structure, I actually wanted, technically it's actually missed. This was our trade here, Asia lows, everything is still bullish. There's the engulfing. But I'm going to take a squeeze from this weekly pivot level. Let's see if we can continue up, or we're going to be John Wick. But this is the trade I'm in. I will monitor this pre-market session highs right here. If we can start pushing above the weekly pivot right here, I will monitor this level. I think that is 20. I'll take 90 off, and then I'll even try and leave the rest to come back to this level right here. But that is the trade. Let's see how we run with it.
I'm gonna answer MS there in the chat. When I first started trading out, and I was still playing quite a bit of golf. It was actually quite bad because in golf you obviously have to keep in like a good mindset, and I would be in a trade and I would be like losing the damn trade, and then all of a sudden I missed the putt as well. Then I want to break everything. So I don't think it's quite viable trading while playing golf. I don't think it's good.
Fuck, I'm bleak now taking that on the wrong account, but it's fine. Guys, gonna monitor GU here as well. So UJ, we took the buy very close to the hourly closing. Let's just check at how the hourly is going to close. Gonna close bearish, however, very little to no top wick. I'll see how we open up. But yeah, this is the trade. Area to monitor for DXY, I would want to see DXY breaking structure lower here. If we can do something like this. GU should hold Asia lows. I want to see like some type of bullish engulfing candle here, and then we will be in as well. GU bars. So ideal scenario here, create some type of resistance, we can pull back and then get a nice break of structure. And then I'll potentially add another position. Good advice, Keegs, cause that if you stay on the market, watch, you can panic and close, then market goes your way. I think that's where your trading plan comes in. So for instance, I've got only one rule for closing out early, actually two. And my two rules are if the market is failing to hold a level, I will close out, because then it's obviously showing me it does not want to hold that level, it wants to go lower. And if price is ranging close to my zone, I close out. That's the only two times I'll close out early.
Yeah, I do agree with what Chris is saying, but at the same time, there's also that point, like we've also said in the office, we've literally watched it happen to both myself, to Jevon, to Chris, where we also say you do need to find that happy medium of giving your trade the time to breathe, because like he does say, we've seen so many times it has that little bit of range in, and the minute you close, this thing takes off in your direction. But I feel like we always say that always happens to all of us, because we always think the market is playing against us.
Chris, are you referring to a pivot level when I say R1? Yes, so R1 is literally up here, 146.67, so I'll say get it to the closest 5, 146.65. That is if we can get away from this weekly pivot level. We cannot get away from this weekly pivot level. I'm fine with the pullback, even something like this, resist the weekly pivot level. We can pull even all the way back to Asia lows. I just then want to see us break structure to the upside.
That's not my business.
Neil van der Vester is a possible entry on GJ if we engulf and close above the 15, above the pivot. Yeah, Neil, I like GJ as well. We'll see how far we are on UJ, and if we can potentially go break even on UJ, I will consider buys as well on GJ. I would almost say GJ for me is the better trade than UJ. But if we can go break even on this, let's say if we can push up till here, like 10, 12 pips, go break even, and then we get GJ breaking structure to the upside, then we can enter GJ as well. Actually, just gonna set a alert here, 185.50.
Yeah, Chris, I think just above Neil, I think you missed that other question on Ricochet. Just asking when you talk about failing to hold levels, are you referring to a pivot level?
Yeah, so Rico, when I talk about failing to hold a pivot level, it's either like a half round number, like 185.50, or a round number, like let's say for instance 185, and then obviously pivot levels, and then Asia lows and Asia highs as well. That's the levels, those are my key levels I monitor. And for instance here we traded below Asia lows, we took out the Asia lows, we held it, nice engulfing candle, and let's say for instance if I took an entry here and we started ranging here on the Asia lows, I would exit. Or if we for instance pushed lower, let's say we did something like this, the next 5-minute candle closing bearish, then I would give it say 2 more 5-minute candles to see if we can regain it, because remember it's still a zone, it's not like a line in the sand. Keegan mentioned it yesterday, it's still technically like this zone we want to see hold. Guys, 3 minutes before this hourly candle closes, it's not closing in our favor. I have to just comment on that. As you can see, it's a bearish candle. It's got a massive bottom wick. There's a very high probability we close, we create a top wick, we first come and fill this bottom wick, and therefore I'm gonna have to go stops to break even. I'm break even on the trade due to that fact. So if we just push up straight from here, that's fine, but with the hourly candle closing against us and with that massive bottom wick, less probability of this trade playing out for us. So I'm going break even. If it runs, it runs, beautiful. If not, there's zero risk on the table for me.
Yeah, Chris, just to actually ask something, I'm pretty sure I'm sure we've actually spoke about it, but was your strategy, obviously, because you kind of work with your AD and all that stuff, you always trade with the trend, so you never trading against the trend?
It's basically like I mentioned with your daily bias. So if let's say for instance I'm coming into a session and I want to basically sell highs and buy lows, and within that I'm also trying to trade with the trend. Now all of a sudden, what do I monitor? And I think mentally it fucks you up, because now you get to the stage where you're only looking to fade trades, and you can, for instance, like German 30 this week, let's say you tried to fade it this entire week, you got killed. Like, this thing has been pushing bullish since the start of, that was Friday, from Monday. Like, if you tried to fade this, you would have gotten killed. Maybe you took the fade Nobody was awake at 4 or 5. If you were, great, but that's why I feel it just eliminates that need to actually try and catch both sides of the market.
Yeah, no, reason I ask is because obviously, I'm sure like you have seen it yourself, there is times I will swing a trade where I am going completely against the market and the trend, but majority of the time, like again, we talk about our proper setups and every single box is ticked. Personally, for myself, I also have that two different time frame rule. So my higher time frames, for example, I always want like the daily and the 4 hour going in the same direction that I wanted to go, for me to be able to take the trade.
Alright guys, break even on a trade, still in it. Let's see if we can run. I think it's up like maybe 4 pips, 5 pips. Hourly has just closed. Can we survive the bottom wick on this hourly? I highly doubt it. If we are going to push, we should break these levels up here. Other than that, if we create like a top wick and then start flipping bearish, very high chance we come and fill this wick. So looking left with me, hourly closing bearish, there's the wick fill. Another hourly closing bearish, there's the wick fill. So that is why I'm saying the hourly is not in our favor, and I'm not going to risk it trading against an hourly like that with a bottom wick, because that wick is liquidity and price would want to go and fill that liquidity, but I'm not looking to sell it. So I'm fine with taking the risk off the table, and if we hold the weekly pivot, great. Otherwise the weekly pivot is going to reject, and I am still in, out, break even. Way too close to the end of that hour. And it's not done for us. So if we pull back, let's say we pull back all the way back to Asia lows and we get here again, I'm gonna enter again. But that hourly candle is a no-go for me. Alright, and as soon as this 5-minute closes like this, I will be executing longs on GU. Hourly closing bullish, nice top wick to fill, so let's see if we can get in on GU. Should not run away from us, so if it can stay within about 7 pips from the Asia lows, I'm happy to take it. This right here, perfect. I will be executing longs on GU.
Just on another note, how is that trade or buy limit of hands playing out?
The alert, I don't think it's it. No.
No, it's quite far. I'm literally sending out a message now in the group, just to plan when we're going to delete the order and put it in again, because obviously we were going to delete the order at about 1:30, just to make sure that the news doesn't do anything with us. And then I'll probably only re-enter tomorrow morning, because then we're going to near the late US session, which I don't like to trade. So if we don't get tapped in before 1:30, then it's tomorrow's trade.
Okay, we just need GU to hold ground here. Executing as soon as this candle closes, guys. I just don't want it. I don't want something like this now, where this candle does that. Then we are We can still take it, but I will then wait for like some type of pullback on the next 5 minutes. If the next 5 minutes then pulls back to like the 50% of that candle, I'll enter. But this perfect. This is what we talked about, coming back into the Asia lows. Nice engulfing candle. 55 seconds and we will be in. Neil, I like the resistance we are creating if we can break it and show bullish pressure. GJ, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. I would even like something like this, pulling back, and then that break. Then I think we'll have momentum. Just want to check the hourly quickly. Oh no. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough ask, but we can get it. Only thing is, if you look here, we broke structure. Massive bottom wick on the hourly. Yeah, we could wait a while for that, Neil. I think that is something. All right, get ready, guys. GU on the close of this candle. We are in. And we are in. 15 pip stop. And we will be targeting the weekly R1. I would say Asia is not going to be greedy. It is NFP tomorrow. 15 pip stop right there. I'm actually going to take full off at 18.4. And that is the trade we are in. And then GJ, I've got our alert set at 185.50. So depending on how far we pull back, we can pull back all the way here. And then as soon as we break structure later on above the daily, not the daily lows, the Asia lows and the pivot, I will execute on it. All right, may the volume be with us. Hashtag pray for GU. See you guys now. I'm just gonna quickly go and pray.
I actually wasn't paying much attention. How did Chris execute on this trade?
And yeah, he did.
Ouch.
Not ideal.
You taking shots here.
Alright guys, I see we're facing some drawdown here. As mentioned, it is the end of the month. We're still in. Follow the rules, Asia lows. We are bullish on the day, so no emotions. If we get stopped, That is also perfectly fine.
Chris, you know, I have put sell limits in on gold. I'll be selling at 1945.83.
1945.83. Oh yeah. What is your stop, Geeks?
My stop is 1947.82.
The Gold Whisperer.
Guys stopped out on GU. Massive engulfing 5-minute here. Rejecting the Asia lows. We still have this round number here, 12700, still above the pivot, still bullish on the day. We will reassess at a later stage. But that is the setup, minus 15. Laz, please don't add where we got stopped out. As mentioned, it is the end of the month. We can see weird stuff happening. But I am still bullish on the day. And I am still going to monitor the Asia lows. Only thing is DXY creating new highs for the session. And that daily level we spoke about. Let me just get the daily up here. That daily level right here. We are currently trading above it, and unless we get back below this daily level, all US counterparts can push bullish. It's because I entered with him, MS. No dude, this is a setup like I take every single week if it presents itself. There's nothing funny about this trade. There's nothing I would have not taken. We're still bullish on the AD, but as I've mentioned, it is the end of the month. We've got end of the month today. We've got the first day of the new month tomorrow. You've got monthly candles closing, so it is tricky to trade the end of the month. End of the month is similar to Mondays, so if you're trading the end of the month, you should be aware that weird things can happen in the market. You shouldn't be oblivious to it. But you should also not take the shots that are given to you. GJ filled that hourly candle as discussed, breaking the lows. In this case now, if we start flipping bullish and this hourly candle is going to close bullish, something like this, breaking the previous hourly high, very high probability we can continue up. If not, Asia low still a level that I'll monitor. One bullet down on the day, one left. Let's see. News at 11.
Chris, I think your marks me. Oh, never mind.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think is going to happen when BRICS decide to nice vape there, Keith. BRICS decides to make their own currency. Are we going to trade?
I think it definitely will affect everything, bro. And I definitely think it's something I would want to catch early. Because if, let's just say, if the talk follows through and it does what it needs to do, this currency can become a potential powerhouse and stuff like that. Honestly, like, this is something like I would, for example, like I would fund an account that I would literally sit on and swing this thing. Like, I would take a trade and hold this for like 2-3 months because this thing's only going to go up. But at the same time, it's a lot of talk right now. So Chris and I actually had a conversation about this where it's taking all the steps, it's doing all the necessary things, they're putting all the right things in the right place. Fundamentally, everything's coming together. But nothing is going to happen until they make something happen. So at the moment, it's all talks. At the moment, it is backed by gold. But the biggest thing is there's not a bank that's backing it yet. None of the steps that you need to take to do it have been taken yet. So at this point, it is just all talk. So I think until we can really start, even the first or 2-3 things that need to start happen, and we can see that ball start rolling, it will become just a snowball effect. And I think it will just take off from then.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what I was actually trying to say is, imagine, in the next coming, let's say they do get the ball rolling and they do actually do this whole thing. We're going to actually have a new currency that we can trade on TradingView, which is going to be crazy. So what I would want to see, or what I would be interested in seeing, is would that market then, from the start respecting like normal market structure? Like how do you predict? How do you analyze it? Because it'll be like the pound versus brick, or gold versus brick, or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
What are they gonna call the currency?
I think they're gonna call it brick.
The briquette.
Briquette.
We're trading the briquette. You know what's going to be weird? There's going to be like a start date on it, like the first candle that opens up. It's going to have like a peg. I don't know where they're going to peg it, but there's going to be like, if you trade the open on it, I think it's going to be massively. Either guys are going to immediately short it, or they're immediately going to long it. So as soon as it opens up, I think there's going to be massive volatility.
But Chris, wouldn't you immediately long it? Because a currency can't go below zero, can it? Or can it? I wouldn't know.
No, so currency can go into perpetuity. So like, for instance, because it's two currencies, so your peg is 1-to-1. That is if a currency is pegged, it's basically 1-to-1. So you'll literally see on your chart, let's say they peg it against the dollar. This is what you'll see. It will open up like that. That is how it will open up, and then as soon as trade starts on it, that's when you'll start seeing the pips go up or down. And then if it's like
it won't start at zero, it would be the correlation between, let's say, the brick and then the dollar.
So it will look like this once it starts. If it gets pegged against any of the other ones. For instance, like USD JPY is 145.86. stating that you need 145, let's say call it 146 yen to actually buy $1. Let's quickly check here. VBS will back VBS. Let's not get political here. Spoke to a Brazilian parliament member and he said that we might use China's currency, but it will not happen for a long time. Guys, at one stage the euro was higher than the dollar. Do you think if BRICS becomes effective that the euro must just skyrocket? Might. Rico, always when you try and create a hypothesis or a scenario, you need to look at factors that affect a currency, and then also you need to then try and tell yourself, why would the euro skyrocket if BRICS if that BRICS currency comes into play? Is it due to potentially trade being better, like cross-border trade, lower tariffs, lower fees for trading with all of the BRICS countries? Is there going to be like some type of trade charter they're going to put out? There's a lot of things you need to consider, but just on a whiff or on a hunch, say that the euro is going to skyrocket is not a good, not even an analogy, but not a good hypothesis. So, and the euro is still currently stronger than the dollar. Let's not forget that. If you go to euro USD, it is still stronger than the dollar. We hit parity, I think, for a brief moment. Was it last year? When was it when we hit parity? Parity was...
Sorry,
yeah.
Chris, I'm just trying to catch your terminology. Does parity mean it was 1-to-1?
Yeah, that's parity. Oh yeah, we actually traded below parity. Yeah, we traded below, so I think this was the first time in I don't know how many years when we traded below parity. Just to give you guys an idea, I started trading when USD ZAR was in single digits. And now we currently 1869. And it was actually quite a big thing when we hit double digits. Everyone was like, holy shit, 10 Rand for $1.
Here's a question for you guys. So I think we're talking about the one day, but when you look at the bears and bulls, which is your more preferable option?
Buys, hands down. I don't even have to think about it. Bulls. I'm a much better buyer than I am a seller.
Same, 100%.
Same, yeah. I don't know why. I think it's we programmed like that. I think the reason we are programmed like that is because since we were young, it was always positive if markets go up, and it's almost like embedded into us. Like you want a market to go up because that signifies growth. It signifies potential. It signifies a lot of things. So selling for me as well. I'm not good at selling.
But I mean, adding on to what Keegan said, I find clean setups for, let's say, like sells, but I would feel better about, let's say, a B setup for a buy than an A setup for a sell. I don't know if that works the same for you guys.
Yeah, you'll rather take the B setup on the buy than the A++ setup on.
It's like when I see that it's a sell, I always question my setup more than what I would if the same setup was a buy.
Artis, with the BRICS currency, do you think in the future that if it's successful that other currencies will slow down in movement? No. No, it will not slow down in movement, because remember, ultimately currency trading is still... Remember, we're trading the spot market. There's actual real currency transactions going on. So let's say, for instance, you're an importer, exporter, and you've got rands, for instance, and you want to buy something in Europe. Then obviously you're going to have to take your rands and buy euros. So the currency evaluation or the currency prices wouldn't necessarily be less volatile or more volatile. It's purely to do with actual currency being traded, actual contracts traded at a bank on the intermarket. So if you want to get rands, what do? You want to buy, you want to get euros, you're going to have to take your rands, buy euros, and then you're going to pay that person in euros. It's all to do with trade.
Sorry, Chris, I just want to add to what you were saying. I think what people do forget sometimes is that, you know, because we've got the ability to use leverage in the market, we can't actually be trading the actual, you know, physically buying pounds and selling it against the dollar. I think what people don't actually know is that we are trading a CFD product via liquidity and brokers. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're 100% correct. There's not the trades we take on here has absolutely zero effect on the currency market. There's absolutely, even if you've got 1 billion rand and you're trading as a retail trader and it's not on the interbank, like your trade has got zero effect. There are ways for your trade to basically make its way through to an interbank. If it goes to a liquidity provider, the liquidity provider hedges his position, but ultimately us as retail traders will not move the market 1 pip. We've got no bearing on the actual currency market.
Chris, what is your opinion on this? So I think Harden and myself have had this discussion, and we always have this thing, like everyone always hears retail traders, institutional traders. To you, what is the defining factor where you say you are institutional or you're retail?
So there's nothing wrong with retail. I don't know why we've got this stigma created, like retail is bad, like, oh, you trade retail. Like, even if you've got 50 million rand that you're trading with and you're trading it on a retail broker, you are a retail trader because you're using a retail product. Once you start going institutional is when you actually have a direct feed with the bank, or you are directly connected to liquidity on a liquidity bridge. Your transactions are actually going through a major bank, be it UBS, Deutsche, Credit Suisse. So institutional, all that it means is you're trading institutional money. It's not your own money you're trading. So unless you are a trader for a bank or for an institution, you are a retail trader. And it's not,
I agree with that.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, so I think, like, excuse me, Keith, you go for.
Yeah, sorry, man, just quick. Because I was in a short nutshell, like what I always say to people, I necessarily don't say there's a bad reference with it, like how people assume it's bad to be retail. But an easy way I always look at it and I tell people is, if you are trading on MetaTrader, you are a retail trader.
No, I agree with you, Keith, as well. And I remember about a year or two ago, people were coming out with SMC concepts and ICT saying this is institutional trading, and then retail is a completely different thing. So I remember retail, how people would say, so retail would have been like your normal trend lines and your double bottoms and your support and resistance. So they actually tried to depict SMC concepts and ICT as institutional trading, when you, like, I agree with you guys. If you trade on like a platform, a MetaTrader, 405 or any like Trade Locker, any of those, doesn't matter how much money you've got in there, billions, you are a retail trader.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know, the entire institutional thing. Like, institutions trade on blocks. They like, you put your order in the market, you tell your dealer, like, ideally this is the fill I want to get. The dealer will put out the word saying, there's actually a book. Let me actually give the book's name to you guys, and then you can actually go, and it's got all of the analogies. It's got stories about real dealing. Like, we had the one guy on here yesterday on the stream that was talking about the Nifty 50, where Indian streamers aren't allowed to call out trades on their streams because they can actually move the market with their calls. I'm going to tell you now what the book is. I just want to find it here on my Google Drive.
Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but your institutional traders, when they are trading, like you say, the big difference is also when they are trading, they can actually see the depth of the market, if I'm correct.
Correct, yeah. So there's I'm not 100% sure how it works, but there's certain levels of liquidity in the market. So if they talk about the depth of the market, like you've got your L1, your L2, your L3, 4 and 5. And then obviously your L1 and L2 is where like the majority of the volume sits. And then you've got like some outliers. So they can actually see in the market where somebody's preferably wanting to buy the euro or wanting to sell the euro. So they've got a lot more data in terms of what's happening on that. And obviously all of these guys have Bloomberg terminals, which we don't have. Their access to data is much more than what we've got. And they are directly linked to like liquidity feeds. So for instance, their pricing is literally, there's almost no latency. They're getting all of the data from the liquidity providers, from the institutional banks. Let me just find that book real quick. Guys, I'm still keen for GU buys. I'm monitoring this closely here to the round number and to the daily pivot. If we can get some type of rejections off this daily pivot, and exactly the same thing, if we get that set up just transposed to this level here, I'm going to execute my last bullet on GU. So I'm just letting you guys know I am still very keen for buys.
Yeah, just to add to that, there's a bit of a confluency. The dollar is also starting to close above some key levels, so it is going to start making some waves now and making some moves, but at the same time, obviously we are getting closer to that 11 o'clock where the euro is going to come out. And again, there's always your sentimental and fundamental analysis, where the euro with the CPI coming out is actually at a good risk of potentially pushing the euro down, which is something I've always noticed is when the euro and even the pound actually move, they do in a way move in correlation with the dollar. So like we say, that dollar is clearing some key areas now, and with that CPI coming, it can actually also help push the dollar up a little bit as well, which in theory would also push Chris's, that would actually push your GU down.
Yeah, if the dollar continues. So this is the last line in the sand for me, this level right here. I want to see what we do at this level. If we can hold it, cool. If not, then my idea is completely scrapped up until later. Guys, so the book that I'm referring to is called Trading and Exchanges, Market Microstructure for Practitioners. So if you really want to get to know how the markets work, the bond market, the actual your equity market, your money markets, read that book. It's about 670 pages. I'm only halfway through it. Some of the stuff I already know, but it's just interesting to see. Where was that one that I quite enjoyed? There's one chapter that I enjoyed. So it basically goes through like the origins of liquidity, why people trade, market efficiency, dealers, block traders, value traders. So yeah, quite an old book. So a lot of the stuff is not relevant in today's trading. For instance, years ago when you wanted to buy stock, you would have phoned your stockbroker and he would have tried to fill your order. So let's say Hein phones me, he's like, Chris, I want to buy $100,000 worth of Apple stock. And you would then not try and basically alert other guys because you can potentially move the market. So you would have, say, maybe 3-4 other guys phoning guys saying, look, I want to buy $10,000 worth of Apple, because you want to try and keep the price almost relatively low, Because if you know somebody's going to come in quite hard into the market, Keegan can front run me and he can go and buy $200,000 worth of Apple and then sell it once the market is pumping up back to me. So that is the interesting thing with actual dealings. Alright guys, depending on how this 5-minute closes, last bullet for the day. If we can close above the round number right here, 12700, this is my very last bullet, 50 seconds. If we take it on the chin, we take it on the chin. Otherwise, it is sweet chin music for us to the upside.
Come on, Chris, we're talking about this. This is your one in the chamber. This is your moment.
Snipe or be sniped. I do need this to close quite strong though. 10 seconds, no. I wanted this to close above that round number. I'll give it some time. We can push down again, but as soon as we get something above this round number like that, I'm still very keen for the buys. I'm just letting you guys know. I am not looking to sell this as of yet.
Yeah, this gold trade's making me wait. It just doesn't what that mean.
$24 minutes. Jeez, dude, I wonder if I shouldn't wait for the news, but let's see. 24 minutes. Let's see if we can maybe get a move before then.
You know what always bothers me is gold at the moment with all the things. So, for example, gold is obviously pulling its safe haven, and it's getting a lot of its strength from the fallen Asian stocks. So the problem with that now is we get in that situation again where gold starts to climb while the dollar's climbing at the same time.
Chris, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just went full time now, not me, but I'm speaking in third person here, okay? So I'm a trader and I just went full time, okay? And I've got, let's say, 500,000 Rand that I want to invest, okay? This is apart from my savings that I'm going to live off of, okay? What is the safest investment that I can make? You can answer by diversifying that answer, or diversifying that 500k. But what would be your safest investment when it comes to like
McDonald's franchise?
Or 500k? Where are you gonna find that on Wish?
Yeah. That's your safest market. You cannot lose money on it. Your money is literally guaranteed.
So like if you go to like Alan Gray and then you just give them your money.
No, you can literally go to your bank. You can go to Investec. Like Alan Gray would also have like a money market fund, like most of the guys. So they negotiate rates with the bank. But if you're telling me like you want to be 100% sure that you won't lose money, a money market. That is your safest. How do we get the camera? Yes.
It came early.
Now you can open it. Yeah,
Thanks, Chris. I'll be heading over to Alan Gray later. So you guys.
Why Alan Gray? I would go directly with your bank, because with Alan Gray they're going to charge you admin fees, they're going to charge you fund management fees, and they're going to charge you advisor fees. So go straight to your bank.
Does FNB have that? Because I know you with FNB as well.
Yeah, you can tell FNB you want to go and say a 30-day notice account, money market notice account, and they're going to give you a better rate as well.
Interesting.
No,
Just
don't.
a question. So on that note, like with the bank, so someone, because I know Han does have it, like couldn't you literally contact like your private banker?
You
and they'd
can.
be able to do that stuff for you.
You can literally tell your private banker, you get a 30-day notice. I think you get a 90-day notice account. The longer the notice, the better interest rate they give you. So I would say if you're not going to touch the money for 6 months or even 3 months, go with a 90-day notice account, and they're going to give you a very prime interest rate on it.
That's very interesting because I never knew this. So,
Really?
You know, they hold it on. Yeah, no, like, so as Keegan mentioned, so I do have a private banker, but he's never mentioned anything like this ever.
They don't like it because there's no fees really on it, and that's why they hate it. They're gonna try and they're still a retail offering, a bank, so
there's no upside.
there's very little upside to them unless you do a 90-day notice account, because then they can use your funds to borrow that out and it adds to their liquidity pool.
And then also,
Guys,
if
this
I'm
taught me
correct,
something
the
today.
same thing is, because they also make money, because for a lot of people when, for example, they get in trouble and you need that money, if I am correct, you can get it withdrawn earlier, but then you pay like penalty fees.
Yes. GU.
Yeah, so it looks like it did close how you wanted it to.
No, so I actually wanted this candle right here, but my only concern now is with the news. I don't know how the spreads are going to be affected on GU.
Is it just me, or has it actually also been affecting you? Like lately, like the news spreads have got like very bad.
No, they teleport, dude. I think a lot of guys are trying to de-risk. So a lot of the LPs, a lot of the institutions, they almost don't want that risk on their books, and that's why the feed is so bad. When guys want trades on their books, like LPs, they'll give you good spread because they want all of those trades to be filled. They want the liquidity, but if your spreads are bad, it's telling me like LPs don't want the liquidity. They're de-risking. Alright guys, 20 minutes till the news. I am still bullish on GU. As I mentioned, I wanted to enter on this candle ideally. We'll see. Potentially news comes out, we get some type of spike below here, even all the way up here, and we close back above the daily pivot. I'm still keen for buys. We took our first punt here. We got pipped out there. And GJ as well. I'll be monitoring 185.50, but currently bearish. We've already tested Asia lows. We've rejected Asia lows. So if we can get back above the Asia lows, I would consider buys, but if not, nothing there for me. And also, as I mentioned, it is the end of the month. It is month-end flows, so please be very careful. So Euro USD is still bearish. Euro USD was actually bearish from the start of the session, trading below Asia lows. As I mentioned, I think MJI Capital asked about Euro, and I said obviously your Asia lows already got tested, rejected, and then this area here I mentioned is going to be your zone where either bulls are going to really take it away from the Euro bulls, the dollar bulls, or we're gonna get something like this, where this will be the platform to continue higher. But currently still very bearish. So they're expecting a decline. I just want to run through some scenarios here. Year on year, let's quickly check at. Let's see what we can get on euro.
See, AUD USD is coming down to our POI slowly but surely. Hopefully we can get tapped in quite soonish.
Guys, tomorrow NFP stream, and we've got Carl coming on in the morning. I'm just going to run through the analysis very quickly tomorrow morning, and then roundabout at the open he will join us. We will still be trading. Carl will just be joining us, and get your questions ready. Carl's also a full-time trader. I personally don't know his entire story, but I've only heard good things from his students and people that have worked with him. So it's going to be new for me as well to hear his story, how he got into trading. Carl's also quite young, eh, Keegan? I think you mentioned 23, 24, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is, I think, 22, turning 23.
So also still quite a young and upcoming trader.
Young bull.
A young bull. He's not like me, an old bull. Sounds like a swing trader. Talking of which, what's the longest you guys have held trades for?
Oh yeah, for those of you that don't know, Chris is about double my age.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So,
double your age. Yo.
How old are you now, Chris?
Me, 33. Born 1990.
Okay, no, never mind.
I'm still on the right side of 30. The longest I've held a trade, I think it was USD Mexican peso. I think it was 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. That was the longest that I've held a trade. Chris, my age mate. Dude, I still feel young. These young bulls coming in make me feel old. Trying to get me to wear streetwear and Supreme and I don't know what else. Wearing New Balance shoes that look like dad shoes, but it's making a comeback. I don't know. There's a lot of...
Guys, don't worry. I promise you, by the end of the year, we're going to be starting. Yeah, Chris is going to be looking dope.
Dope is dope. We street
no cap.
bro. No cap.
Quite interesting. If you actually go look at majority of most like full-time traders and social media, I mean traders that have a pretty big social media presence, everyone is between about 23, 26 around there. You don't really have any of the older guys.
You know what? When I started trading, Instagram marketing wasn't a thing. Like if you wanted to find traders, I grew up in like the Greg Secker, like weird, like I think it was GFX Global Forex, like weird institution. It was more like very institutionalized, the training, and we didn't know there was like a following of like you can sell signals, this and that. Like I never even knew that was a thing. Like you try to get information from the internet on courses, and then only later on the young guys came in and it became this thing where you started flexing your account. Like at that stage when I was on IG, I think I was already doing like say $10,000-$20,000 a month, but I couldn't flex it. Like everyone was like, what are these digits you're showing me? What is this screen? They ask you if you can trade, then they open up a MetaTrader account and they're like, how do I deposit onto MetaTrader? And I'm like, dude, you can't deposit on, you need a broker. They're like, no, but I've got a broker, MetaTrader. And I'm like, yo. So we were in that age when we started.
Greg Sick is the guy that absolutely irritated me the most. Not because of what he did, just because I clicked on one Greg Sicker video and all of a sudden every ad on Instagram and every ad on my YouTube before video is Greg Sicker telling me about learn to trade.
Listen here, Greg Sicker must have spent like $3 million on YouTube ads, because literally every second ad I got on YouTube was a Greg Sicker ad. I have not seen anything like that. It was insane. And he is ultimately the pinnacle of the lifestyle marketer. And I absolutely hate that guy.
But he,
But you know what?
sorry, Keys, you go.
I'll say we had this conversation before where we were saying, like, you see the young guys, I think it's that whole thing of growing up with that technology. So you got the guys that are, if you want to say the big popular, the trading influencers, they're all like their early 20s, mid 20s, and so on. Where we said, for example, there's guys that have been doing this for years, but I'm not going to go find some 50-year-old that's been killing Wall Street on Instagram because he's not bothered by that. He doesn't give a shit. I mean, we spoke about yesterday when we said, for example, if I made my 11 million today, you're not going to see me. I'm going to disappear. So why am I going to be on Instagram?
You won't disappear, man. I'll see you in Cape Road with your McLaren. You won't disappear. You'll be at every Seattle every single day. Don't tell me you'll disappear.
Dude, for instance, it is true that what Keegan is saying, for instance, if you go to the Robbins World Cup, one of the best traders is rated as top 10 is Larry Williams. And if you go and look at his, I still think he holds the record for the biggest gain. I just want to show you, I think it was 11,000% in... Let me just show you guys Larry Williams, and you don't see, dude, I don't even think he's got, so Michelle Williams, I don't know if it's family, yeah, 11,300, yeah. Larry Williams, 1987. So if you go onto YouTube now, I think he's got 3,000 followers. Let me just go, yeah, Larry Williams, or 3,000 subs. He's not on social media.
You know what's scary is the fact, like,
okay, now so he's got,
people will look at us and be like, we're successful, and I think my best month ever was 10%, and these are actually clapping out 11,000. Oh my word.
So Larry Williams is an absolute trading beast. I think I have shared with you guys the one book that I read on Larry Williams, but just to give you an idea, Larry Williams, a guy that's got a track record like of note, he's literally rated in the top 10. If you go on Google now, top 10 traders, Larry Williams is in the top 10. So let me just show you guys this. So there's Linda, Bradford, Rashka. I don't know why they've got Peter Albrandt. What a fucking idiot. But Larry Williams, let me just pull this out. I think it was JC Livermore that killed himself. Where's Larry? Jeez, Larry is not here. Let's go on Investopedia. JC Livermore, George Soros, Jim Rogers, Paul Tudor. Okay, so Larry is obviously not in the top 10. I don't know how they are putting, what's the name here? Peter Albrandt. But anyway, Linda Bradford Rashka is one of the modern day market wizards. Do I see what's in here? George Soros, obviously, for his big short on, everybody knows the story. Paul Tudor Jones, also a very good trader. JC Livermore is the guy that committed suicide. Also a very good trader. Stanley Druckenmiller, also very good. Anyone else? Ray Dalio, everybody knows about Ray. Ed Saikota as well, he's also quite a legend. But if you ever want to flex, enter the Trading World Cup. I think the one German guy is still, okay, it's basically dropped down. No, oh, he's still there, Patrick Null. I think he's one of the co-owners for 8cap, if I'm not mistaken. But an absolute machine of a trader. He's been like in the top 3 like every single year for like the last 5 years.
But I'm just looking there, like they were saying there, that is May to June. January to August. 315%. Holy crap.
Patrick Null, I think he does have like some type of mentorship, if I'm not mistaken. Patrick Null. But I think he's the co-owner of 8cap, if I'm not mistaken. So Patrick's got 300 traders and is currently leading the Forex World Cup. With what prop firm is it that he's with? Oh, sorry, he's the co-owner of the Trading Pit. This prop firm, the Trading Pit. Patrick Null.
Just a question, so with this whole like Trading World Cup, how does these things work? Like, do you like pay to enter it? Like, how do you get into
so
this?
you only need to have $10,000 in an account to start with. You register with them, you need to sign certain agreements and wages. They need to audit all of your trades, and you're not allowed to withdraw or deposit into that account. So you start off with 10,000 and they monitor it. So they've got like investor passwords. There are criteria, so you can enter. You just need a minimum of $10,000. So trading, yeah, you can see $10,000, $5,000 minimum for Forex, and you can enter.
That's crazy. Do we actually have a South African in there?
No,
Like
I've never seen a South African.
Our scammers aren't doing well.
No, I know Roger Banks and ICT were having a pissing contest. So ICT as well, he has never entered it. Or I think he has entered it once. He blew the account. I don't know. For all the ICT fuckboys out there, I love ICT as well. So don't feel offended when I say that. But
The cult.
yeah. And Roger trading on his own broker as well, talking a lot of shit, trading this, trading that. But
Do you guys know Umar Ashraf?
yeah, I've known him since the start, like from his humble.
Did you see on Words of Wisdom? I checked the podcast last night. It was Umar and Raja on Words of Wisdom. It's quite interesting.
You guys are still young, man. You are young. MGI Capital, KK. At least I'm relieved. I thought I was the Madala. What's the algo box guy that always dissing ICT? It's Vinny E Mini. That's the algo box guy. They've got some serious beef for years. But yeah, I think a lot of guys, like, let's be fair, and I know a lot of guys hate on ICT, this and that, but honestly, the guy has put in a lot of free content, a lot of work, and there are traders using his principles to be profitable. So you cannot fault that. And I've said it so many times, if somebody is adding value and is adding that value for free, whether he trades a demo account, whether he trades live, that's not what it's about. If you are adding value, for you to say something, if you add more value than him, then you can say something. But if you are not adding that amount of value to the trading community, like, rather just stay quiet. For instance, Raja trying to get clout, mentioning ICT and trying to bully guys on Twitter, this and that. Like, dude, rather just keep quiet. If you can't take trades on your live stream, or you're only losing trades on your live stream, there's zero value other than fading you on your own live stream.
I guess Roger Banks isn't going to be on the live stream anytime soon.
Dude, I actually, weirdly enough, I had a lot of respect for Raja when he started out. I think he started with all of the right intentions, and as soon as he started to make some money with his business ventures, he got cocky, and he was, dude, Raja was like legitimately a genuine guy. If you go back to his streams 3, 4, 5 years ago, completely different guy to what is now. And I think what happened is you get some money, you get a following, and then all of a sudden you think you can take the piss out of everybody. And I think there was a guest on Words of Wisdom that said there's 2 ways to build your following. You can either build it the hard way by providing a lot of value to your clients, or you can go the other route that Raja has been taking as of late, like trying to piss everybody off, or like trying to rile everyone up, and like, oh, ICT this and you can't trade, and I'll give you $50,000 to trade on my platform. So he's a very good marketer. Let's not be mistaken. Raja Banks knows how to market. And in terms of trading, I don't know if he trades much. He blocked me on Instagram, and I asked him to just disclose who his liquidity provider is, because otherwise all of those trades on Dominion markets is fake. If it's not connected to an LP, you can literally edit your trades on Meta Manager. And he's sitting with that Meta Manager account, and then obviously his mentor, Uncle Ted, also running a Ponzi, getting blown up. Like, why? I don't know. So I'm not fazed about what the guy does, but I honestly lost my respect that I had for him. And I was a Raja fanboy years ago. I was like, yo, look at this guy working on the oil rigs, smashing the market, this and that. And now it's like, nah. What did the euro do? Anyone trading the euro? Let's just look at those numbers came out, if I'm not mistaken. Inflation a little bit higher. That should be positive for the euro. Let's see. Christine Lagarde, she's gonna need to do more.
I must say that CPI for the euro was pretty disappointing.
Dude, that was like a non-event. That was literally like a non-event.
Like, for we know, we've got jobless claims coming up, and the dollar never disappoints.
Dude, I don't know why we try and trade NFP weeks. Like, every week time it's leading up to NFP, we like, the markets are not moving, but still we're sitting here. Dow starting to tank, correct. Nasdaq DXY pumping. So just kill that idea. USD JPY. USD ZAR gave something nice here. Asia lows holding. No trade for me. Thinking back, that could have been an entry there. Nice little engulfing, but I was not really dialed into it. I was more dialed into GBP USD as well as USD JPY. Alright guys, that is a stream for me. There is literally gold also non-event there. USD ZAR, GBP USD starting to trend bearish now. I was hoping for some reaction off this daily pivot level as well as the round number. Nothing. Pound yen as well, monitoring Asia lows. USD JPY, I wanted to enter on this pullback because it is valid for me. It is a break of structure. It is above the weekly pivot. My bias is bullish for the day. But again, we've got the round number literally sitting right here, institutional level. So entering here, got 11 points. It's already 2 hours into the session. It is end of the month, guys. Please remember that month end flows, that is a thing. It's not some buzzword. Month end flows, guys, basically taking stock of what's happened the month, basically rebalancing books. So it could be just a chop fest, but for me, that is a session. Iron Keegs, any closing remarks?
No, that's it from me. I'm obviously waiting for gold, but I'm going to give it a few more minutes anyway. And after that, I'll probably just close out the order and wait for a New York session.
Yeah, it was just from me, just on AUD USD, if anyone is actually going to take that trade with me, I am closing that trade at 1:30 if it hasn't tapped us in yet.
This is a trade Arnold's referring to 6:46, 19 or 20 depending on what you want. Nasdaq, yeah, coming to that daily pivot. MGI, I would say this is your level to monitor. US 30 as well, quite a bit away from the daily pivot, so this level right here as well. CPI coming out higher in the Eurozone, that is not good. It means that the ECB would need to do more in terms of rate hikes for longer, and that is potentially a risk-off scenario. So I think the FTSE would also start dropping on the back of that news. Yeah, FTSE, you can also potentially start to see some decline. And here's a perfect example for somebody that asked about the R1. So from pivot to R1, that is your low-hanging fruit that you can take. It's not a guess level. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining. Tomorrow morning we've got Carl James, and tomorrow afternoon NFP. We're giving away R1,000 account tomorrow morning to trade with us in the afternoon. So be sure to join, share the link, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow.